when the company was created back in 2017, the goal, the vision was to essentially hopefully find the next high-grade Tier 1 gold deposit in the Golden Triangle and possibly be a mine one day. And clearly with what we have done today, the work in a very short period of time, we are on track with discovery of a very large gold system that I'll get into momentarily. By way of background, I was in Toronto for, I guess, about 30 years, investment banker. I had my boutique firm, primarily doing mining deals and so on. And Bill Chornabay there, who's also advisor, program manager, showed me a package of rocks, and I got pretty excited about it. And I thought, hey, this could be the one. So, and obviously we got Quentin here as well. Quentin's been an advisor to the company since, I guess, 2020 when Crestcat made their first investment into the story. What we had done is a series of channel cuts down this exposed mineralized vein for over 2 kilometers, and Quentin quickly understood the significance of this, the results. We're in the Golden Triangle as well. Southeastern tip, a lot of benefits there that I can get into. Essentially world-class geological setting. As you can see, a lot of mines, a lot of deposits. We've got the right area code. First Nations are pro-business, pro-mining. So here's kind of like the highlights. The reason this hadn't been discovered prior to us coming along, it was essentially covered under glacier and permanent snowpack. So up until the last 5 years, this wouldn't have been discovered. I'm sure they were panning for gold down in the streams there, pulling quite a bit of material out of there. So within a very short period of time, we've identified roughly essentially 12 stacked veins over 1.2 kilometers stacked vertically. So we're sitting in a mountain range, somewhat kind of like the Pogo mine, if anyone's familiar with that, sitting in a mountain range with stacked veins over an area of like 1.8 square kilometers. So it's quite large, and we still don't know how big it is. Every year we drill the system, the bigger it gets. A lot of these new discoveries, as you all know, they start out real big. The more you drill, the smaller they get. We're the inverse of that one. Again, the more we drill, the bigger this gets. New zones every year. We did complete a successful drill program in 2024. 92% of those holes actually had visible gold and or coarse grained visible gold as we get further into the system. And I'll show you a picture shortly here, but everything that we've done is, for the most part, is still above the valley floor, sort of sitting up in the mountain range, which is pretty fantastic. The program that we've had here at the Sherbet proper, we've had 100% hit rate, so we have not missed on any holes, which is pretty unique testament for this amazing discovery. We have done some early met work on Quentin's recommendation. We are getting a 92.2% recovery of the gold at a 327 micron crush, of which we're getting roughly 50% of that of free gold from gravity alone. So essentially, the gold is falling out of the host rock, half of it. No cyanide required, no deleterious material whatsoever. So in a mining scenario, presumably, you're at a pretty low cap or OPEX, with the amount of power required. Have been successful raising close to $60 million in a really crappy market the last 3 years without blowing up the capital structure. And again, I think that goes to the testament of the quality of this world-class discovery, which you can see there. We've got some pretty interesting strategic shareholders. We've got obviously Crestcat Capital. We're in there first in 2020, and then shortly thereafter, I guess Quentin was speaking with Eric about the name. Eric came in, I guess, in 2021. It would have been February, March. Rob McEwen is in personally, Larry Childress, and then attracted a global commodity group based out of Singapore. They've come in recently as well. And then we just signed a deal with McEwen Mining. They're going to be taking a toehold in the company, of which they'll end up with around, like it's 5.2%. We're going to end up taking stock in McEwen Mining. We think it's significantly undervalued. And once the IPO there, Argentinian copper, I think we could see potentially a double in the story. So really at this point, we've taken all the risk over the past few years, 2025 and future. We're going into the low risk expansion phase here. Again, it does remain open. And here's our updated model. We just announced all of our results last week. And again, we've hit on every hole, 100% hit rate. And this is our new model with these, again, these stacked veins, kind of like a layer cake system, all primarily up in the sedimentary group. We'll go too technical. So again, think of Pogo Mine, which Quentin has brought up several times. It reminds him of that and other smart geologists. And then this year we actually discovered our intrusive related, our dikes actually are carrying gold as well. We were actually typically drilling, trying to avoid these things. And if you think snowline gold, very similar looking type mineralization. One of the grades we got back, it's kind of 10 grams over 10 meters. Snowline's kind of 1.2 to, I guess, 2 grams. And that's a deposit of, I guess, around 7 million ounces at this point. So if you kind of visionary, think about, okay, potentially a Pogo mine sitting on top of a potential snowline gold type of system. Again, we have barely gone through the valley floor here. Here's an image here on your left, kind of, CN Tower. It's basically, these stacked veins, 2 CN Towers on top of one another. And then down below you can see the valley, and we believe there's this mother lode feeder zone, which is definitely related to this reduced intrusive style of mineralization we're seeing in the dikes. The top right actually is that 1 kilometer. This is kind of looking northwest-ish of exposed mineralization. So it actually goes up the mountain, the south slope, it peaks, goes down the north slope for another 1.2 kilometers. So vertical relief is about 700 meters. So even before we drilled this in 2021, we had a 3D model of the system, which is pretty amazing. And there's an outcrop here at the bottom picture. Quick cross section of what it looks like from the side on a couple of holes. Here's that image kind of showing you, to sum it up, Pogo sitting on top of a snowline type deal potential. Obviously, we got to keep on drilling and prove that out in the next couple of years here. But shares outstanding, about 143 million. This is baked in with the McEwen Mining transaction completed. Currently, we're sitting with around $7 million in the treasury. We do have about $9 million of warrants that are deep in the money, average strike around 62 cents. These all expire this year. So I'm expecting another $6.5 million to be rolling in between now and before the end of June. Board and the team, we've got about 19% of the company, partially diluted. Crescat Capital being one of our larger shareholders as well, of 14.4%. Do have a offshore strategic institutional group just owning under 10%. Then obviously McEwen Mining about 5.4 once our deal is completed. The Global Commodity Group 5.2, Rob McEwen personally for about 4%, and then Eric Sprott at 3%, and Larry Childress 1%. As you can see by our volume, 52-week volume, I updated the model or the deck today, and was shocked to see we were kind of 90,000 for the last 52 weeks. We're actually 105 million shares traded the last 52 weeks with a VWAP of $1.35. We actually hit a high of 284 after the last time I saw you, Chen. After this great reception at the show, we're currently closed at I think it's about $1.65 on Friday. So great volume. So location-wise, kind of zooming in, bottom right there, we got the town of Kitsault. That's actually was built by Phelps Dodge back in the 70s for the moly mine that went into operation in the 80s, went out of business. You can actually drive here from Terrace about 3.5 hours. You've got high tension power there. You've got the old moly mine, the Vanti Kitsault, which is permitted brownfield site. The mill's gone, but certainly would be advantageous to have a quick kind of a turnkey scenario to put this into production when we get to that phase. As you can see, we've got tidewater on either side of the project as well. So we've got barge access down into Kitsault, or 190 clicks to the south, Prince Rupert. You've got rail across Canada, or a deep sea port. You can send your material anywhere in the world. Here's a quick pic of a part of the town, actually. So we occupy these apartment buildings. We've got our core shacks here. We've got an industrial-sized kitchen. We had about 110 people last year with our 8 rigs and 4 choppers. I was told the town actually held or had a capacity of about 1,000 people when it was in operation. But anyhow, if you've got any more questions or if you're interested, reach out. We've got a booth out here. Reach out to Chen, I guess, because we always get feedback from you as well when people are looking for information. And have a great PDAC, and thanks for listening to my story.